crossing them because the camera might break or. I have a face made for radio. So I have to tell that joke over again?
No, you don't.
No. Okay. We are in a number of countywide races, and the countywide races, much like our local races, are intended to be nonpartisan. So we invited all of the candidates who are actively involved in county races. Not everybody responded. Not everybody is showing up. Apparently, there are some that are either so out of the race they're not campaigning, or they're so sure they're going to win they're not campaigning. Anyway, we have a number of people here. We have people here who are running for assessor, recorder, clerk, treasurer, tax collector. We have judicial candidates. That we're only doing countywide races, Ron. Thank you. We also have representative, I guess that's it. Those are the only ones. We have those four. So we're going to start with the assessor, recorder, clerk. We're going to invite Jordan Marks to come on up and make some brief remarks. All of the candidates are going to speak for about 3 minutes, at which point in time, then if there's time, since some of them have other events to do, we'll take questions from the audience for any one of the candidates. Thank you. Jordan? Podium is yours.
Oh, thank you. And I don't know, I think you mentioned a timer, or I just want to be kind.
I'll let you know.
Okay, and I hope this doesn't count against my time, but I serve on the USS Midway Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. I've been doing it. We have a wonderful celebration today. So after today's event's done, if you'd like to join me on the Midway, I'll be heading over there. We have a celebration of the Midway's heritage and birthday today, but also the diverse community that has served and been served by the Midway. So we're very excited about that. And thank you so much to our host and Brian, who's been a wonderful communicator on behalf of the club. It takes a lot to make these events happen, and you did, and I appreciate you for doing that very much. So, all right. My name is Jordan Marks. I'm your Chief Deputy Assessor, Recorder, County Clerk. I realize, yes, all right. Sorry, I'm a talkative person. I like to engage. Some people say I make taxes fun. I do, I enjoy it. And actually my career doing taxes started when I was appointed by Governor Jerry Brown to the State Board of Equalization. That's the organization, the state agency that oversees assessors. We audit them and we make sure that they're doing their job right. I'm an attorney, and I was put there to make sure that taxpayers were taken care of, which includes making sure that items like Prop 13 were administered correctly, that also the limitations on property taxes for renters and homeowners, what's keeping San Diego and Coronado affordable for many was implemented and administered correctly. I came to the assessor, recorder, clerk's office here in San Diego County. We do property taxes. We do recorded documents. So if you own a home, the title and everything attached to that is so important, goes to our office. We also are the commissioner of civil marriages. And who doesn't love love, right? And we do a great job at it. In fact, I was just with Supervisor Fletcher the other day, and we helped the first LGBT military couple married by a supervisor. I helped coordinate that. That's the joy I get in my office. But also at the foundation of what I do is my 3-year-old, my wife, and our home, and the ability to afford a home here. And that drives my passion for what I do. And so that passion has led to great innovation in the office. We have a new website coming, very excited about it. We've been working on it. We have a new integrated property tax system that's going to make it so much better. 5 offices coordinated to deliver one great service. And we're introducing Owner Alert, a notification system to let you know if somebody tries to steal your property. And so that's coming live. You should see that September, October. We're going to have that going live. I want to talk about Coronado. I've been here in Coronado. I walked the streets of Coronado during the pandemic. We gave relief to the small business owners. I can walk them. I can tell you their names. I can tell you where they live on the island. I've been working with disabled veterans. Since I joined the office, we had 4,000 disabled veterans getting property tax relief for their 100% VA rated disability. They lost a limb, they lost an arm. I put in innovative programs. Today, we have over 12,500, delivering back over $18 million back in the hands of San Diegans, disabled veterans, and their surviving spouses. I'm talking about this is what delivers the ability for them to afford their homes. And then also, I will say Prop 19 senior transfers. The state put legislation initiative passed by the voters. Some counties couldn't implement it. Our county did, and it has helped seniors here to be able to upgrade their lifestyle without increasing their property taxes. I'm endorsed by Whitney Benzian former council member here on the island, and I'm also endorsed by Greg Cox. I'm a bipartisan consensus candidate. This is a nonpartisan office. It's the way it should be. And my wife, who's a lifelong Democrat, reminds me of that all the time. And so my brothers who are Democratic Party leaders as well. So I look forward to earning your vote. I brought some flyers. It has my cell phone number on it. Please, if you have any questions, I can be a resource for you, your family, your neighbors, a veteran. It's over there on the table. I encourage you to take it and just put it in your pocket. One day you're going to need it. I hope you never do, but when you do, it's nice not to have to wait on an 800 number, right? In our office, I listen to our phone tree all the time and see how can we get you there faster. That's my commitment to you. I respect you and I'm honored to serve as your Chief Deputy Assessor. And I'd like the opportunity to continue serving you, the community, and the families of San Diego County. Thank you.
Thank you, Jordan. And now we'll bring Jordan's opponent, Barbara Bree, up. And Barbara will give us her statements. And thanks for everybody for being quiet and giving them the floor. Barbara.
Thank you. Well, good morning, Coronado Democrats. You are out in force and I am impressed. I'm Barbara Bree and I am the Democratic Party endorsed candidate for San Diego County Assessor, Recorder, County Clerk. And I am the only candidate in this race endorsed by Planned Parenthood of the Pacific Southwest. Jordan, thank you for videotaping me today. I hope you put it up on Facebook. Why am I running? As many of you know, I served one term on the San Diego City Council. I ran for mayor and lost. Never expected to run for office again. But last summer, a number of community leaders asked me to step up because they knew this was an office in trouble, an office in need of new technology and modernization. I don't think Jordan ever talked about technology or modernization till I got into this race. A little bit about my background. I was raised by a single mom. My parents got divorced when I was a teenager. I grew up outside of Philadelphia. My mom went to work at a job where she was paid less than the comparable men, and there was nothing she could do about it. She empowered me to believe I could succeed in the male-dominated world of business. In 1976, I earned an MBA from Harvard. At a time, few women were earning an MBA anywhere. I've started 3 organizations that empower women. Athena San Diego for women in tech and biotech, Run Women Run to elect San Diego pro-choice women, and the Workplace Equity and Civility Initiative to address sexual harassment and pay equity issues in the workplace. In my career, I spent 30 years in the technology world. I was on the founding team as the vice president of marketing at proflowers.com, which grew to become a very successful San Diego e-commerce company, went public and was sold successfully. Served on many nonprofit boards, including as president of the Children's Museum and on the board of Planned Parenthood. And I ran for city council because I wanted to give back to a region, a community that has been so good to me. And on the city council, I was the first elected official to demand an independent audit of the 101 Ash Street fiasco. You've probably read about it, even though you live in Coronado. Ash Street had been purchased before I joined the council. I was the first elected official to demand an independent audit of the water department when customers were being overbilled and weren't being taken seriously. And that led to significant reforms. I have a background and a history of standing up and of asking the hard questions. In my early career, I was a business writer, investigative reporter at the Los Angeles Times. Where I learned to do my research, to ask questions, and then be relentless in getting the story. I am relentless, and I want to be relentless for you in making this an office that truly serves our interests, that properly implements new technology and modernization. From public records, I've learned that the county office of the assessor has been working on this integrated property tax management system since 2016. Other counties have already done it. Why is it taking so long here? And what else needs to be done? I asked how long it's taking to process Proposition 19 claims, and I was simply told, we don't know. If you don't measure something, it doesn't get done. My #1 priority is good customer service for you, whether it's online, in person, or on the phone. I would be honored to have your vote on November 8th, or before that, if you vote by mail. Thank you very much.
Okay, we're going to pivot to the judicial races at this point. I will invite Rebecca Cantor up to talk about her judicial race, and her opponent, who is here, will also speak. Rebecca, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Brian. Do I have to use this for the online folks? Can you all hear me without it?
Yes.
We have to use it?
The little, yeah.
Got it.
Sorry.
All right.
Just stay there.
Stay here.
Square thing.
As a trial attorney, it's very hard for me to sit still in one place, but I'm going to do my best. Good morning, everyone. My name is Rebecca Cantor. I am an assistant United States attorney here in San Diego. I want to tell you a little bit about me and also why I am running. I believe judges have the power to touch our lives in very real and meaningful ways. And I think we are all realizing that this year more than ever. And this is a position that I have been working towards my entire life, and I've been active in both the legal and the community, the legal community and the community at large, getting to know San Diego better. So a little bit about my background. I went to UCLA School of Law, and after law school, I clerked for a federal judge in the Central District of California before starting at a law firm in DC. I worked in DC, New York, and LA at O'Melveny and Myers, doing both civil and criminal work. So I have civil background from my clerkship and from my time at the firm. And I also got introduced to the area of criminal law and came here to San Diego to become a federal prosecutor. I've been an assistant United States attorney for the last 16 of my almost 20 years of practicing law. And I'm in our major fraud and public corruption section. And I focus my career on that because I believe people who have come from wealth, privilege, education, and opportunity should not abuse that in order to increase their own power or financial wealth. I also have held other roles at the U.S. office. I've been a supervisor in our major crime section, a deputy chief where I supervised 10 trial attorneys, and I served as our civil rights coordinator, where I was responsible both for hate crimes. I served on the San Diego Regional Hate Crimes Coalition, as well as prosecuting excessive use of force by law enforcement. I also, for the last 5 years, have had a collateral duty as an ethics advisor, and it's really been important to me because I think ethics and integrity are the most important qualifications for any public servant, but especially a prosecutor and a judge. So that experience and the specialized training I have of doing government ethics in the public sphere is going to translate very, very well to the bench, where judges are held to a higher standard of ethics. Outside the U.S. Attorney's Office, I've been a volunteer judge pro tem. So I serve in small claims court as a judge in Superior Court. And I also have been active on boards of organizations that I'm passionate about their mission. I serve on the board of Lawyers Club, the Women's Bar Association, where my very first leadership role was co-chairing the Reproductive Rights and Women's Advocacy Committee for several years. I also served on the board of Wild Coast for 5 years. Some of you may be familiar with it. It's based right down in Imperial Beach. I was the president of that board for 2 years. And so I got to know and have been endorsed by your former council member, Whitney Benzian, as well as Serge Dedina, a good friend of mine who's mayor down in Imperial Beach. I've also been endorsed by 34 current and former judges, more than any other candidate, because those judges know I'm the best candidate to join them on the bench. I've been rated well qualified by the San Diego County Bar Association and endorsed by elected leaders throughout the county, ranging from Tony Atkins to Nathan Fletcher and Tara Lawson Reamer, Mayors Gloria, and the others. I brought some cards, which I will put out, and it has more information about me, my background, and my endorsements on my website. And I'd be delighted to answer any questions you have. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Rebecca. And now Rebecca's opponent, Murphy, will come up and share his thoughts on running for the bench. Mike?
Thank you, Brian. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for having me here. I really do appreciate the invitation, and it's an honor to be here. 3 minutes is fast, so I'm just going to jump right into it. I always like to introduce myself a little bit personally so you get a sense of who I am. I'm a San Diego native. I was born and raised here right down in Chula Vista. Coronado has always been a special place because you have the best beaches in town. I would go surfing in IB though, because they had a little bit of surf, but you couldn't beat the beaches here in Coronado. I've spent many times here. I went to San Augustine High School, San Diego State University, USD School of Law. I've been married for 27 years. I've raised 4 kids, 2 daughters and 2 sons. My wife is the CFO of a local community bank. My oldest daughter is working towards her CPA license with a medium-sized firm up in the Bay Area. My second daughter just graduated from UCSD as a structural engineer major. She's going to go work for an aerospace company in Wichita, Kansas, and places. Apparently, that's a hub for aerospace industry. And then I have 2 sons who are still in college right now, so I'm really proud of them. As far as my experience, Superior Court judges, they're state court judges. There are trial court judges here in San Diego County. It's important to have the right experience to be a Superior Court judge. I passed the bar in 1995, and I've been doing trial work in our Superior Courts for over 26 years now. In fact, major coincidence here, I did my very first trial as a defense attorney because I started as a defense attorney in front of Judge Finley, who's a member here. That was in 1996. I remember it. I don't know if she does, but it was a DUI case, and she was down there in South Bay courtroom, and it was a great experience, and it started my legal career as a trial prosecutor or a trial attorney. The next year, I got hired at the California Department of Justice as a deputy attorney general, and I've been there ever since. I've continued doing trial work throughout my career in our superior courts. I've tried homicide cases, child molest cases, DUIs, everything in between. That experience has given me the practical knowledge about what it means to be a superior court judge, the practical knowledge about our procedures in superior court. In addition to my trial work, I have also spent my career doing appellate work. So wow, 1 minute left. I have experience in our Court of Appeal and the California Supreme Court. I have handled and litigated hundreds of cases in our entire court system. I've argued dozens of times in the California Court of Appeal. I have argued 10 cases before our California Supreme Court. 8 of those were death penalty cases, which are often the most complex and involved cases. That experience I will bring to the bench. One last note, if I have time, integrity is important for a judge. Judges have to be fair and unbiased and apply the law equally. I have 2 examples in my career that demonstrate my commitment to equal application of law. Long time ago in 2001, I prosecuted a peace officer for the on-duty shooting of someone else who was unarmed. And it was the first conviction in Riverside County of an on-duty shooting of any peace officer. And I think it remains the last on-duty conviction for a homicide. And I'm currently prosecuting another police officer up in Riverside County for an off-duty shooting of a mentally impaired man. My commitment, even though I've worked with prosecutors and worked with police officers, if they broke the law, it's been my commitment to hold them accountable just like everyone else. I've done that as a prosecutor. I will continue doing that as a judge. I'd be honored to have your vote. Again, my name is Mike Murphy. I'm running for Superior Court Judge, Office 35. I too have some cards and a brochure I'd like to leave here. I would invite you to find more information about it. And if you want any further information, my cell phone's on there, please give me a call. Thank you for the time.
I'm used to the Point Loma pause. I didn't know we had the Coronado Fire Department pause. The next judicial races, I'm going to invite Peter Singer up first. Peter is a candidate for the Superior Court position. And then his opponent has a surrogate here who will speak for the other Peter later. Anyway, Peter Singer.
Thank you. Thanks, Brian. Okay, good morning to all of you, and thank you for having me here this morning. As Brian pointed out, my name is Peter Singer. I am a commissioner of the Superior Court at the present time. I'm the only candidate that's got judicial experience in my race. I'm the only candidate that's already on the bench. What I do in my courtroom at this point in time is I handle a criminal infraction court. That includes traffic, quality of life, fish and game, transit violations, things of that nature. Most of the people I deal with on a regular basis are not represented by attorneys. They're regular people that just come into court. One of the things I realize is that I'm in the people business. So for people to come to our court, sometimes they have to take a day off from work. Sometimes they have to get childcare. Sometimes they have to take 3 or 4 buses to come to court. always in my mind is what the people are going through with respect to having to come to court and deal with business in the courts. I bring this to your attention because, as you know, San Diego's got a lot of difficulty, a lot of problems with those who are housing insecure, drug addicted, mentally ill. My background as an attorney, I spent 28 years in private practice, had my own practice. My focus was primarily civil litigation. And within the civil litigation, I did at least 1,000 trials. And I represented, I did a lot of unlawful detainer cases, but I also, over the course of my entire 28 years, I represented people with mental illness. This started out in conservatorship cases, and it later morphed into having a contract with the state representing people in the state prison system who were mentally ill. I didn't represent them in their criminal cases. I represented them in their involuntary medication cases. I've got a ton of experience with mentally ill and the homeless. And interestingly enough, these are a lot of the same people that I deal with today in my criminal infraction court. So I've got a broad mix of civil experience and criminal experience, and I'm already on the bench. During my practice, I was a volunteer judge for the court as a pro tem judge for 22 years, and I've been full-time on the bench right now for 7 years. I'm getting the 1-minute signal, so I'm going to rush through a lot of things for you. I've been honored as the California Court Commissioner of the Year for the state of California. I presently serve as the president of the California Court Commissioners Association. The California Judges Association, of which I'm a member, I have the support of the president. They're having their annual meeting here in San Diego next week, and I'm actually going to be making a presentation at that meeting. I have the support of the Democratic County. I have the support of Supervisor Fletcher. I have the support of Tony Atkins. I have the support of many, many, many judges and commissioners from around the state. I'm asking you for your vote. I'm trying to move up into the collaborative courts and do more for people who are homeless, mentally ill. And in order to do that and get into the collaborative court system, I need to be a judge. I can't do it as a commissioner. Again, my name is Peter Singer. My website is petersinger.com. Very easy to remember. Please take a look at my website. I've also got cards in the back. I want to thank you very much for your support. Hoping for your support. And if you can help out in other ways, please join me on the website. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Peter. And now we will invite Pete Murray to come up and talk to us.
I'm looking better.
Peter, as somebody who spends a lot of time working with the homeless, I really appreciate the fact that you're sensitive to those issues.
Thank you.
Tricia?
Good morning. Pete is not able to be here, but I will do my best to read you what he wrote for you. I've known Pete for many years, and I don't want to use his time to talk about me. So here it is. Hello, members of the Coronado Democratic Club. I'm Pete Murray, and I'm a candidate for judge of the San Diego Superior Court, Office 36, in the upcoming general election, having placed first on the June primary. I am so sorry I cannot be with you all in person today, but I committed to marching in the Poway Days Parade, which is where I am right now, and hopefully not in a torrential downpour. I'm actually going to be riding in an authentic WW2 Army Jeep with the exact name Jeep my father drove in the war in the European theater. By way of background, I'm a graduate of Duke University, where I attended under full naval ROTC scholarship. Upon graduation from Duke, I was commissioned to the U.S. Navy Ensigns and commenced flight school in Pensacola, Florida. Subsequently, I received my Navy Wings of Gold and then proudly served at the Naval Station for 8 years. One of my assignments was as one of the initial instructors pilot for the introduction of the SH-60 Seahawk right here in Rhode Island. Another assignment had me flying in support of another neighbor of yours, Naval Special Warfare Command. You know them as the Navy SEALs. I eventually left the Navy to attend Duke University School of Law, during which I married my wife of now 34 years. And after graduation, I promptly moved to a place that I knew my wife would, like me, fall in love. It was right here in Coronado Island. I have now been a California attorney for 31 years, having started out in San Diego with a major international law firm. For most of my careers, 22 plus years, I was a criminal trial prosecutor serving as the deputy district attorney in San Diego for 12 years and as a California deputy attorney general for over 10 years and 10 and a half years. As a side note, I tried my first felony trial before your friend, the Honorable Susan. Susan Perry Finley, in between any two positions. I did one of my first cases in front of her too. As a public prosecutor, I started and ran my own private law practice, where among a broad array of work, I represented a small business individual with significant focus on the representation of law enforcement personnel and other responder. I'm an exceptionally experienced trial lawyer, having handled countless cases of multiple areas, of which hundreds of criminal prosecution under my belt, for everything from major healthcare fraud and elderly abuse, murder, sexual assault, drug trafficking, and I have tried 75 cases, jury verdict. With the background, I have recently assumed the role of chief trial counsel at the law firm of Cage and Millers in San Diego and Riverside, where I mentor and train all their new attorneys. Am I running out of time? Okay, I am, but my accent gives me an extra minute. All the background is important and relevant when we call that the San Diego Superior Court is the trial court for our court system. And I'm going to reduce saying that Pete, I've known since I've worked with the courts since 1988, and I truly have a lot of respect for him. Not that I don't respect the rest, but I have a personal experience having worked with Mr. Murray, and I highly respect him and I fully support him.
Thank you, Patricia. I'm gonna have to remember that when I want to have the mic longer. Is I just do an accent and I can stay here as long as I want. Look at the looks of panic on their faces. Okay, now I'll invite the candidates for county sheriff to come up, except they're not here. Invite the candidates for DA. Oh, that's right, nobody's running against her. So now we're left with a candidate for the treasurer tax collector position. Greg Hodosovic will be coming up to speak to us. Dan McAllister is his opponent as the sitting treasurer tax collector. Did not respond to the invitation to attend, and from what I can tell is not actively campaigning. So we'll listen to Greg. And if you want to find out more about Dan, I suppose you could go down and talk to him, but I stay away from people who collect taxes as much as possible. Greg, come on up.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Brian. I'm Greg Hodosovic. I'm a Democratic candidate for San Diego County Treasurer Tax Collector. I've been endorsed by the Democratic Party. I thought about myself. I came to America 22 years ago with my wife and 2 small children. Had a great career here. I worked as a chief financial officer, managed financial systems at various companies, hundreds of millions, billions of dollars. So I know how to handle other people's money. I decided to run. It's time to give back to the community I've been a member of, and it's a public service matter to me. That's the reason for me to run. We heard something about the Office of Treasurer Tax Collector earlier today. That office has been using an outdated system for so long. They haven't been able to upgrade or replace it for so long. And even here, Don mentioned that how long it takes to get any information out of that office because it's using an outdated system. And these days, using a good system is super important. It is not just finance office, treasurer, tax collector. It is everything is powered by the computer systems. My expertise is not only in finance, but in the financial technical systems. I am very hands-on, and I would go directly and I figure out what's wrong, or I'll find people who can do it, not necessarily myself. I used to do it more technical stuff myself, but now I'm trying to engage other people. But it is super important to get the right system in the tools and the tools in the hands of those who serve the needs of a county. Ernie Dronenberg, county assessor, is retiring. He hasn't been able, and he decided just to retire. My opponent, Dan McAllister, they jointly manage that system. He is not retiring. Well, as my grandfather used to say, a good actor leaves the stage on time. If I am elected, I'll complete the upgrade, and county residents, taxpayers will get a new state-of-art system. It will serve needs well and in a quick and efficient manner. There is not only one, it is just a technical matter. There are other things I think are appropriate for that office, treasurer, tax collector. Tax collection, it's one thing, but there is another component, which is treasury. It relates to the management of a retirement system. And also, I think the treasurer's opinion on various large items, large financial projects, countywide, should also be heard of. We never hear anything from the treasurer, tax collector, just getting tax bills. But when it comes to large projects, like Sandag plan, is it feasible? $160 billion plan. How is it going? Is it? We need to hear from the top financial elected official. What's his sense? Is it good, bad? What's wrong? Why we should vote, support or not? That's why I feel that office should also be vocal about other major issues like housing supply, affordable housing, and homeless. In my opinion, we should stop creating homeless in San Diego. 75% of homeless are local. They became homeless here. We need to stop this. If elected, I will be working with, I'll complete the system implementation upgrade, and I'll work with our elected officials and community leaders on improving the quality of life in the San Diego County. Thank you for your support. Appreciate your time.
That ends the presentation by candidates, and I know we have some of the candidates who have to run out, and so in the interest of time, we're going to skip Q&A. The candidates who can stay are going to be available to answer questions. We'll go back to the original agenda, and I'll turn things over to Morelli. Thank you, everybody, and thank you for all the candidates for coming and sharing your positions with us. It makes it a lot easier for those of us over here across the bridge to decide what to do with downtown. Although I've got some ideas, but I don't think I can say them out loud. Bye-bye, everybody.